Welcome to Demasked. My name is Frezzman, and today I'm joined by September Dragon Audio. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good. How about you, Frezzman?
I'm doing pretty good. Now, from what I've actually been recommended that I contact you by a good handful of people. So, from what I can tell, you do ASMR videos.
I do.
Nice. So what started you on ASMR?
It was actually a host of things. A couple years ago, I want to say about 3 years now, because my channel's coming up on its second birthday. Um, my life was just really down, and things were really sad, and I couldn't like focus on anything. And I kept getting laid off from jobs, and I'm like, man, this is really depressing. So I started going to YouTube to find guided meditations.
Mm.
And a friend of mine who also likes to listen to guided meditation, she told me to Google something called ASMR. I'm like, what the heck is that? And she's like, just Google it and read on it and, you know, learn about it. So I did. And I spent a good, I don't know, 2 or 3 months just kind of researching it. And so finally I YouTubed a couple of people. And I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like the very traditional ASMR.
Mm.
Because I have sensitive ears to certain sounds. So it's like, all right, well, let's branch out. What else is there? And I found audio roleplay ASMRs. I'm like, well, this is more something I can handle. It's not a whole lot of extra sounds. There's just kind of people talking, telling a story. That's nice. I like this.
Hmm.
So then I spent maybe 6, 7 months listening to it, just enjoying. I'm like, wow, this is really fun. I could do this. No, I can't. I don't have any equipment. And then
Mm.
who was I talking to? Oh, I was talking to one of my bosses. She does podcasts, and she's like, you don't need a whole lot of stuff to do. You could just use your phone and then maybe download some editing software to your phone and do it from your phone. I'm like, really? So I did that. So I think like my first 30 or so videos, maybe 40 videos, were all done from my phone.
Hmm.
And then I got a few dollars around and was able to get some software for my PC. And then I started syncing my phone to my PC and recording that way.
Mm. Now, I asked this out of curiosity because I do see this type of microphone often. But do you have the binaural like foam ear type of microphone?
Yes. Well, no, I don't
Fantastic.
have the ear one yet, but the mic I have allows me to do the binaural.
Mm. I've always wondered if somebody's used one of those the foam ear ones for like phone calls, and if that would give you the same effect as being in the room with somebody.
Probably.
Now, you know how there's different types of ASMR, like, but not only in role playing, but even in audio types. Like there's the vocal ASMR, but then there's like fixing items ASMR, or was it there's one I saw that was like stabbing slime or something to that effect.
Yeah, I've seen those.
I can't do the stabbing slime ones for some reason. That just like uh, it, it's pressing all the wrong buttons in my brain.
It it works for some people, and for others it doesn't. For me, like the eating ASMR, I can't do that because hearing the sound of people eating just,
Yep.
like you said, just pushes all the wrong buttons in the brain.
Yeah, the mukbang ASMRs.
Yeah, I can't do those. It's like, no.
Well, I stumbled upon a restoration channel where they fix up old items, but unbeknownst to me, it was an ASMR channel on top of it, and I only found that out because I started to fall asleep while watching those videos.
Uh, I actually the ASMR doesn't put me to sleep because the way my brain works when I hear like a group of people or I'm hearing someone talk, I want to focus on that person, so I don't want to fall asleep to them.
Mm,
So it's like, how do people fall asleep to this? Because for at least me, I want to pay attention to who I'm talking to or who I'm listening to.
mm. Well, I can't fall asleep to like speaking ASMR because it's not the audio itself that creeps me out, but it's the loss of direction when my eyes are closed.
Oh, I can understand that.
But with like, well, the thing is, like with the restoration videos, as I'd mentioned, that there's this interesting problem where I desperately want to watch the video, but it's so relaxing that like I'll close my eyes and it's a couple minutes later. Uh,
I do that with late night gaming streams. I'll be watching, somebody doing a gaming stream and I'll be like, "Oh yes, this is good." And I'll be sitting in my chair and then I'll start to doze off because it's like, well, I'm not playing the game, so I don't have to focus. I can just relax and watch this on my phone or tablet, and then I go to sleep. I'm like, huh, people playing games put me to sleep.
well, I watched like well lately I've been listening to like gaming compilations, but the problem I run into is the recommended videos that follow them because it'll be like was it there's like a 5 hour video that I sometimes come back to where it's a channel I thoroughly enjoy playing Grand Theft Auto, but they're doing like races and they're just kind of talking and hanging out.
Hmm.
But the problem is it almost immediately follows like they're gonna play scary games, so I wake up to like a jump scare on my phone.
See, I'm not easily jump scared, so I'm okay with that. The only game that actually successfully jump scared me was Dead Space
Mm.
and Subnautica. That one got me too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I I find myself having a hard time playing Subnautica.
Oh, so
Well, I have this fear of total isolation and not even how do I word it? Not even social isolation, but like lost in the woods kind of isolation, Where it's just you and it's like guaranteed that it's just you for miles around. Mm.
yeah, I grew up in the woods. I was an only child raised by my grandparents, so it was like
Mm.
we had was it 150 acres of land, and 57 acres of that land was woods. So I spent a lot of time by myself in the woods. So it's like, I'm alone. So I,
See,
I value my solitude and isolation because now I have a house full of people, and it's like, can I get like 5 minutes to myself, please?
well, like I understand like how do I word it? It's not like I can't stand a single moment. Excuse me. I can't stand a single moment being alone. It's not like that, but it's like I used to take walks behind a sort of I want to say it was like a creek area behind my house. But the problem is there's a moment where you just can't see any of the houses anymore, and
Hmm.
that's where the fear sets in. if I can see the house, I'm cool. But the minute it gets real far out there and I can't see anybody or anything, then
Oh yeah, I understand that fear. My second daughter has kind of a fear like that, where if she can't see one of her parents, she'll panic. Even if we're just like a few inches around the corner, she will freak out and stand completely still, screaming. So it's like, she does not like to be alone, or at least she does not like to be too far alone.
mm.
And
Well,
again, for me, I'm like, go ahead.
oh no no, I was just gonna say I used to live with roommates and I ran into this problem where everybody'd be out of the house and I'd be home alone, entirely alone, and I just kind of like wander around the house and keep like checking out the windows for people, which looked fantastic to the neighbors, I assume. He's
Well,
at
at
the
least your house looked active with you doing that.
yeah. We had somebody like we lived in a cul-de-sac, like a roundabout, and there was somebody directly across from us. And I could only imagine how many times they just saw me standing in the front window, just kind of looking out at the street.
That reminds me of the before she passed away, we had a neighbor that would do that. She'd just kind of stare out her front window, and it like didn't bother me at first, but then like that childhood perception of the world popped up in the back of my mind. It was like, she's a witch. She's gonna get me in the night, and I had to like, no, she's a kind old lady that keeps to herself.
She's
She's not a
observing
witch.
us.
But
You're, you're
yeah,
being
she started bothering me after a while, even though I'm an adult, and my brain goes, she's a normal person. She's a normal person. She's gonna get me in the night. I'm gonna barricade all of my doors.
That's fair. Yeah, that's a totally reasonable reaction. Well, I wonder if there's a word for that, because I've I've got a few fears, a few strange ones out there.
I just overthink things. I don't typically get afraid or become fearful of anything. It's just I will go, and if I'm in a situation, I will think of all the negative outcomings before any of the positive. And it's like, good, now I can't be surprised. And then like someone told me, I think it was my wife, she was like, that's the wrong way to think of the world. I'm like, yes, but then I can't be surprised if the whole thing goes completely sideways and negative. Then I
Well,
can't be afraid of it because, well, now I figured it out. It's already negative. She's like, well, what happens if it's all positive? I'm like, then it's a good day.
well, I've brought this up to a couple people before, where I don't believe in Murphy's law that anything that can go wrong will go wrong, but I believe in a version of it that's more driven by the people around me, which is, now that you've said something's not going to happen, it's now definitely going to happen.
Yep. I have that kind of same mindset. It's like, that lamp is not going to break. And it breaks. See, you made it break.
Well, I run into that at work all the time, where my manager's like, "Oh yeah, it'll be fine." I'm like, "It's not going to be fine. You just made sure it's not going to be fine."
I try not to voice some of my thoughts. I'm like, okay, I don't want this to happen. I'm not going to let the universe know. Universe, please don't read my brain.
Oh no, oh no! To me, the minute somebody else says, "Oh, it's going to be fine," I'm like, "Oh, it's over. It's too late." All I can do is batten down the hatches and prepare. So, well, the thing is, sometimes it works in my favor, which is the best part. Like,
True.
I used to work for a let's just say a very popular shipping company, a very specific delivery company that people can order items from.
Yeah.
You know that company owned by like a supervillain? but but we were having like a Christmas rush, and they're like, we're gonna move 1,000,000 units today, and it just like to my coworkers, I'm just like, no, we're not. Uh, I'm like, watch, everything's gonna like break, and of course, within 20 minutes, it's like, oh, like most of the main machinery to move items has now broken down. We're all just standing here with our hands in our pockets
That happened at my office a couple months ago. It was a big day for us. We had a lot of orders come in, and my boss is like, we're going to get every one of these out. The entire network crashed.
Oh, yeah.
And it was down for like 2 hours. And we were all just standing here going, yeah, we're not moving nothing because we can't see any orders. We can't manually print any orders because nothing saves to like a home server. Everything's in a cloud account on my network, so it's all trapped. It's like,
Oh,
so we couldn't even do like peer-to-peer sharing. It was all just trapped in this cloud account, and nobody could get to it for 2 hours. And it was just like, what do we do?
I when they were doing the 1,000,000 units thing, it was unfortunately the same day that they decided to hire like it was a I want to say a good 10 to 12 people's first day working there, and this happened. And so I'm at my desk howling like a madman because this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. And I look over and there's a new guy, and he's got this look on his face like I'm crazy, and he's right. He's right. But but he goes, "Does this happen a lot?" And I go, "No." I'm like, "Isn't this great?" And he goes, "I don't know, is it?" I'm like, ah. I'm like, after a while you'll see this as a positive. I just oh. Well, so do you have any what you would consider, well, I mean, either way, rational or irrational fears?
No. Um, it stems from the fact that I suffer from chronic nightmares and night terrors.
Mm,
So any real world fear doesn't affect me anymore
mm,
because my brain has generated so much of it in my sleep that it's like real life is not that scary.
hmm.
My brain is scarier than real life. I'm fine. So that actually causes me to have insomnia because sometimes I'll not want to go to sleep because it's
Mm.
like, am I going to have a good night or is it going to be a bad night? Do I want to sleep or do I just want to stay up?
See, I wish I could do not not the insomnia part, but I wish I could do that, like have that separation of, oh, it's a dream, and it's not as scary as real life. But the problem I have is I'll have a horrible nightmare about something I'm afraid of: heights, the dark, spiders, people staring at me for prolonged periods of time, which is a real thing. I actually it makes I'm not, how do I word it? It's not debilitatingly, like, not debilitating fear of people staring at me, but it makes me incredibly uncomfortable.
I can understand that. Um, my wife has that same kind of problem. She doesn't like to be stared at for long periods of time.
But the problem I run into is, like, you mentioned, real life isn't as scary. The thought process I have is, oh great, now it's here with me in real life.
Yeah, it's just I take those situations in my brain and go, this could happen in real life. Now, mathematically speaking, will it happen? And if it will, when? And will I need to be in the area? Because if I can avoid it, I'm going to.
If you can leave, yeah. See, see that there is something that I had to learn how to do as an adult, is recognize that a situation is uncomfortable, recognize that I am uncomfortable, and then leaving that situation. Because,
Yep.
well, how it used to be is like I'd stand there until somebody would like tell me I could go. But now it's just like, I am uncomfortable, see you later. Just walk out of the room.
No, I've never had that problem. It's like, I don't like this situation. I'm leaving. The only time I've ever had to stay in an uncomfortable situation was when I was in a car accident, and the
Mm,
person that hit us, the way the cars had pretty much melted together.
mm,
Their car was directly on top of where I was in the driver's seat, and they were slightly dangling out of their car and hanging into the broken windshield of my car. So I was just kind of
jeez.
staring at this person, and I couldn't leave because I was trapped. I'm like, oh, this is uncomfortable. I'm staring
Jeez.
at this battered person, and they're staring back at me, not saying anything.
Were, were
They're
they
they're alive. They
okay?
were alive.
Whew.
They were just highly intoxicated, so I don't think they were all there, and I don't even think they realized they crashed yet.
Oh, I so I don't personally, I don't drive, or at least not yet. I don't own a car. Um, but I did almost get taken out by a drunk driver.
I've been in two drunk driving accidents, and both of them I was sober and I was hit by drunk drivers. I'm like, this
Oh,
is why I don't like driving. But I have to drive because my work, well, at the time, my first one, my job was an hour drive away, and the second one, my job was about a 30-minute drive away. And I'm like, this is why I hate driving.
I mean, yeah, I can understand that, but almost getting. I was at work at the time, and that that incident pushed me to quit that job because my manager at the time was an ungrateful jerk.
We've all had those kind of managers.
Yeah. Well, what's worse is like, so I used to be like a cart pusher.
I did that job.
Yeah. The thing is, it's not a bad job, honestly. Just really depends like the area that you're working in, you know. But like this person somehow managed to, so the store is right next to like a large hill, but they somehow tried to make a turn onto the freeway, missed the turn, jumped the curb. Their car went down a hill, through a fence, over a 10-foot wall, and then into the fire exit of my building. And I was outside grabbing carts at the time, and I was where, like, not 10 seconds before, was standing where that car ended up.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was almost very much a part of it. And the so the person was drunk, and I mean like drunk. And somehow, despite hitting the building so hard that they bent the emergency door in half at the middle, was totally fine. Not even a scuff. And you know what? Kind of peeved at that. But
Yeah, I've heard stories of that where I was like, what is it with the alcohol that keeps you invulnerable to like damage? I mean, of course, I wouldn't want to stay that way all the time, so
mm.
intoxicated that I was bulletproof, but good lord, it's just like how did you survive that without a scratch?
well, what was killing me is I ran up and I threw open their door, and they're just not passed out, but just like ah. And I'm like, hey, maybe let's get out of the car because I don't know what the state of the engine is. I don't know if it's on fire because I can't see it. It's inside the building. And they're like, oh, where's my phone? I need my phone. Where's my phone? And it's on the floor and it's like snapped in half. I'm like, I don't think that's an option right now. And they refused to get out of the car no matter how hard I tried. And so I call the cops, and the, the dispatcher isn't helping. Like, I'm like, I'm at this building in this area, and they're just like, are you on the north side of the building? I don't know. It's 2 in the morning, and I don't know what's going on. Like, it's over here by this restaurant, and they're like, is that the north side of the building? I'm like, I'm not hard to miss. Just have an officer drive around the building. And
Yeah,
the
that gets me sometimes. Dispatchers, they just I'm like, how did you get this job?
well, well, okay, so after all was said and done, and the cop showed up, finally my manager comes outside, and I explained to him, "Hey, man, I almost got hit by that. It was almost a decoration." And he goes, "Huh? Well, start getting cleaned up. Like, start cleaning up all the debris." Like, oh, all right. I see. I see how much I matter. I see.
Yeah, I've had bosses like that. Like what was it? I had dislocated my shoulder one time, and I'd come in with a I had to go to the ER. They pushed it back into place, and they immobilized my arm. And they're like, "Yeah, you gotta stay immobilized for a couple of days." And my boss is like, "Can you take that off now?" I'm like, "I just got to work. I went literally from injuring myself to the ER and deciding to come into work anyway." He's like, "So you're useless to me." I'm like, "My job doesn't require
Whoa.
both appendages, just one." He's like, "Yeah, but you're more efficient with two." And I'm like, "And now I'm looking for a new job.
Oh.
Goodbye."
Well, so when that whole drunk driving thing happened, I was like 17, 18 at the time. And after all was said and done, it hadn't occurred to me because that was like my first job. It hadn't occurred to me that I could just go get another job because like I was just out of high school and all this. And I but that realization hit me during a work meeting. I'm, I'm standing there just like, I can't believe I have to work with this a-hole. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, I could just leave. I could just get out of here. And you know what? I think I did the right thing. Didn't cuss anybody out. Just handed my manager my badge, shook his hand, and go, "Hey, I'm going home."
I think I left one job yelling. And the hilarious thing, because I got fired for insubordination that day. And the guy who fired me was fixing the paperwork. So our business looked like it was doing better than it was. And then our district manager found out that he was forging the paperwork, and he got fired like a month later after he fired me. And I'm like, that's funny. And then the district manager called me personally. He's like, would you like your job back? And I'm like, no, I'm not going back to that stressful place ever again.
Oh, well,
I
there.
gave them 5.5 years of my life, and I'm never going to give them a day more.
Yep, fair enough. Well, it's funny in the intervening years since that drunk driving incident, I've noticed that manager no longer works overnight. He's now one of the daytime managers. And I was out getting groceries, standing in the checkout line. I look over and he's right there. And I'm like, I gotta get the hell out of here. Well, it's more so I'm like, I don't want to talk to him. I just want to get my stuff and go. Hey, I recognize you. No, you don't. See you later.
Luckily for me, most people tend to forget what I look like. So it's like, do I know you? No, we've never met. They're like, oh, but you look familiar. Yeah, I look like a lot of people. And then I move about my day because it's just like, well, I'm forgettable. Okay, this is good.
See, that's where you start to mess with them and like call them by their name. You're like, we don't know each other, Todd.
I've never thought of doing that. I may do that. Well, no, because if I do that, they might actually recognize me. And much like you, it's like, I don't want to talk to you. I just want to get my stuff and I want to leave.
Well, that's that store I worked for. Like, whenever I run into somebody who has stopped working there, it's like running into a war vet. It's weird because like I once in a while I'll take Uber or Lyft somewhere, as some people do. And one of the drivers I had used to work at that same store with me, and I'm sitting in his passenger seat. And I'm like, you didn't happen to work overnights, did you? And he's like, I did. And he's like, I thought I recognized you. He goes, man, that place sucks. And we were joking, like, we need a support group for people who work there.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep. I've had that kind of job too. Just like, wow, I worked there. There's so much trauma related to that place,
can't.
mostly inflicted by the customer.
Oh, yeah. Customer's always right.
Uh, See, that never flew with me when I worked at one of the retail places because I was a manager and I had a person come yell at me because there was a mistake done. And the more he screamed at me, the bigger the smile on my face got, which just fueled his rage. Because to me, when people just start yelling at me, I smile. Because to me, you've lost your temper at me, possibly for something I've done or not done. And now you're acting foolish, which makes me smile. So it's having the complete opposite reaction of what someone wishes to have of me. And it's just, they're like getting angrier at me because I'm not giving what they need. And then I just wait until they burn themselves out from yelling. And I'm like, can I help you now? Can I fix it? And then
Are
they've
you
all calmed down because they have nothing more to yell at me.
are you done? Yeah.
Because I do the
Uh,
same things with my kids when they start screaming at me about something. I'm like, all right, this tantrum's going to last about 5. Oh, you're all done. Can I help you now? Are we logical?
uh, well, then sometimes the argument is illogical, which I run into more often than not. Dude, I once had a guy. So I did a stint as a door greeter for that company, and they're pretty, like, some customers are easy to deal with because you just gotta check the receipts and whatnot. But the problem is, I seem to attract crazy people. Like, I will have people walk around anybody else, any other one of my coworkers, just to get to me to ask me, which worries me because I don't do do I. Next time it happens, I should just ask him, "Do I look like a crazy person to you?"
Maybe it's something you're wearing. Like it's like a pheromone, like a deodorant or something, a perfume that just like attracts that particular mindset of a person. They smell and like him. He's gonna be my victim.
You. I gotta tell him every conspiracy theory I know in rapid succession. I have to. Well, there was a guy, like, when I mean appeared out of nowhere, just like I didn't even see him enter the building. He just kind of appeared in my peripheral and proceeded to talk to me for an hour and a half about, like, the secrets of the universe and how he hasn't slept for 2 weeks. And I'm like, cool, man, cool. I'm like, please just go anywhere else. And apparently, according to my coworkers, I didn't work the next day, but apparently he came back and was looking for me.
Ah, you made a friend.
Yeah. But then apparently they had the police escort him off the property, and he was screaming something about how he needed sleep, and that's the last I ever heard about him.
I usually get angry people that interact with me. It's like they know it's like their goal. They're like, I'm gonna make that guy just as mad as me. But what they don't know is I don't get mad. It brings me joy to see you act like a fool. Like where I work now, I had a truck driver come into our building, and I don't know what he was already angry before he even opened the dock door, but he is throwing things all over the place. Like he threw the bay door up, so it slammed against the catches on the ceiling. He throws his trailer up, so it's slamming around. I'm like,
Oh God.
and I'm standing at my because I have an office and I have a desk. I'm standing at my desk, which is next to the docks, and I'm like, oh great, this is gonna be fun. He's already angry, and I've not done anything. I've only had a half a sip of coffee, and so he comes storming over to me. He's like, I got 4 pallets for you. I'm like, okay, no need to be super aggressive about this. Sure, let me help you. He's like, I don't need your help. I'll just, where do you want him? I'm like, over there in the orange staging area. Thank you. I'm like, I'm going to go over here. But it's like, he was just cussing up a storm the whole time he was unloading these 4 pallets. And I was like, why are you this angry? And I'm trying not to laugh or smile, but in my head, it's like, life is too short to be that violently angry. Please calm down. Which then it made a voice in the back of my head. He's like, maybe you should offer him some ASMR. Dear Lord.
well,
But
well,
he just he was so angry and he was just slamming the pallets about, and I was like, Ooh, I just hope nothing's broken there because I don't want to reject this order.
And then he has to come back probably.
Actually, my drivers can't leave until I accept the order, so they have to stand there. So if I'm busy doing something else, they have to wait until I confirm that order, or my other coworker, he can confirm. Yep, it's all here. It looks good. Okay, bye.
Ah.
And it's just that I just looked at him and I was just like telling myself, please don't laugh, please don't laugh. He's acting crazy. Just don't laugh in his face. We need more coffee. Yes, we're gonna go to the coffee pot in the kitchen. Not that I needed more coffee. I had a coffee cup full of coffee. It's just I did not want to. And then my boss asked me, he's like, what was going on over by the docks? I'm like, just some angry driver. I have no idea. He was just angry at everything.
Well, what you do is you wait until he's done unloading all of his pallets, and then the minute he walks over to you for approval, you go, "Hey, I'm going to lunch."
That would have been funny, but it wasn't my lunchtime yet. I'd actually just gotten in for like, I think I've been into my office for like 30, 40 minutes when it happened. I was like, well, where can I go? I actually have to physically stand here right now because I got to do something here at this terminal that I can't do at my other terminal because, well, at the time, the computer systems weren't always linked up. Now it's all linked up. So I can do everything from one terminal. But
Mm.
at the time, it was terminal specific. So I had to constantly go from one office to the desk to back to my office to do things. And I'm like, this is so inefficient. Let's fix this, I hope. Actually, now some of it I can just do from my phone if I chose to. So it makes life easier, especially if I'm like in the far back corner of the building and I need to tell my terminal something to do. I'm like, where's my phone? Button, 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 button. Well, that was easy.
Well, when I was working retail, like you know how customers will ask you to do something that you like, it's so just not your job to do.
Yep.
One of my favorite ones, like, I was a cart pusher. I have no control over anything in the grocery section. I I don't know how to scan items. I don't know how to check inventory. And I had a gentleman who's like, "You're out of these specific cans of tuna." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, but there's like 30 other brands right there." It's like, "I need this specific kind. Can you go check in the back room for this?" I'm like, I guess so." And I walk in the back, and you know what? I gave it an earnest effort because everybody else uses like scanners to find, the location of the item needed, but I've never used one, nor do I have the credentials to use one. So I just walked in there and just kind of turned a slow circle, just looking at all the boxes. I'm like, nope, don't see it, and then walked out. No, man, we don't have it. We're totally out. Never seen it before. Just,
I I used to just go back there when I was a cart pusher. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go find the grocery person. And I told them, I'm like, this person wants to talk to you, and then I'd run away.
oh, usually, like, if the customer's being mean, it's like, I'm going to make sure that you're going to waste your time. But then there are customers that waste my time, and that's like, look, if I got stuff to do, it's. Mm. I, I used to work for a hardware store, a larger hardware store, and this person, I guess, assumed that I was now their, like, personal, like, shopper's assistant. And they're like, oh, I need 2 cinder blocks. And I go, cool. Well, cinder blocks are over in lumber, and we're standing in the garden area across the entire building. So if you want to head that way, and they go, "Can you go grab them for me?" Uh, uh okay. Because I had a strong feeling if I said no, I would be reported to my manager.
Yeah, customers just aim for whoever they want. They don't care if you have the credentials to do something or not. They're like, you work here. Yes, I do, but I literally have no idea how to help you. I can grab someone. No, no, you will help me. No, no, I can't help you. I'm ignorant to how that works. Please let me get you someone with more information on this.
Well, like with the benefit of hindsight, I go out of my way to be the easiest customer. Like when I'm the customer, I try to make it the easiest I possibly can for anybody involved. Excuse me, sir. Do you need help finding anything? Nope. I got it. You don't have to help me. Have a good day. I can.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Like well, when we were able to go to restaurants, you
Mm.
know, more casually. My wife used to work as a waitress, so she we will like clean our table and stack all the dishes so there is less for the wait staff to do. Like my wife will pull out a baby wipe, she will wash the table, she will even like try to clean some of the silverware from the scunnish sticky mess that our children make, and it's just like, honey, what are you doing? She's like, I did this job. I have seen I have seen the state of these tables. I'm not going to do this to a fellow person.
They need the help.
She's like, you don't understand the mental anguish when you walk around the corner to table 12 and it just looks like a hurricane hit it. I'm like, you're right, I don't. She's like, well, I do. It's just, you know, heartbreaking sometimes that people make that much of a mess. I'm like, well, because, most people don't care. They're like, oh, the help will take care of that.
Yeah, they're paid to do that, Oh.
Yes, but it doesn't cost anything to just perform a few moments of human decency.
Exactly, right?
You might even brighten someone else's day.
What was the Oh my goodness, what was it? Well, you well, it's funny you bring that up because in terms of, brightening a an employee's day, but if you ever, and this goes out to anybody who's looking for a good job, or at least a good starter job, work at a local. I'm not gonna name specifically which one I worked for, but I'll name a couple, like Lowe's or Home Depot, those sort of jobs. Um, but if you become a cart pusher there, you will receive many compliments from many people, and it's pretty good. Because you don't have to do much. Like, especially if you're helping a little old lady, it's like, hey, I need the help. I need some help getting this bag of mulch into my car, and it's like 20 pounds. And you pick it up, they're like, oh my goodness, you're so strong. I'm like, not really, but all right. So what I'm saying is, if you're going for compliments, the Home Depot or Lowe's.
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from retail, even if it's at a hardware store.
Yeah, I've done my stint in retail. I'm gonna try my best from here on out to avoid it. Customer service, maybe, but not selling anything.
Yeah, I did 8.5 years at retail, and I'm just no more. I like the job I'm at now. It's calm, it's personal. I don't have to work with that many people
I've I
because I'm not a big people person.
fair enough. I wanna I wanna like break into the what's the term? I want to break into the IT field because it seems like for the most part people leave you alone, but then they'll call you when they need something. And that's what I prefer is that if you need help, just let me know, you know?
See, that's why I like my job. My boss is a pretty hands off kind of boss. He's like, all right, I need you to do these tasks. And then he just goes away. And then he'll come check on me. Do you need help? Nope, still good. He's like, all right. And then he'll go away. And it's like, I can do it without being managed. Have a micromanager managing me constantly. This is good.
Mm.
I can do a task. I can listen to music, and no one will bother me. My wife calls me her big cat because I have a personality of a cat. It's like, don't touch me, leave me alone. Okay, now I want attention, and then it goes back to leave me alone.
I I don't think I figured out mine. I think it's more of a or at least I'll take it back to a nickname I received some years ago, which was Panda, because I'll hang out, they'll take it easy, I'll eat food, and interact with me if you want.
Yeah, I don't know. Even my coworkers have noticed that I have like a feline personality. Just like, just leave him alone. If he wants attention, he'll come get it. If not, then he'll just be there. I mean, if you talk to me while I'm at work, that's fine. But it's just I'm not going to seek out attention. It's just not me. And it makes people laugh. They're like, "You're more like a cat than a person." I'm like, so I was raised by elderly people who kept to themselves. We were on a farm. Our driveway was no, a half a mile away from the main road. Like you drove down the road and then you'd find our driveway and you still had to drive an additional half a mile to get to the house. So I didn't see many other people when I was young. So it's like, oh look, humans. Do I want attention? No. I'm going to be as silently as possible and try to avoid you.
I I have this image in my head of just you're at work and then one of your coworkers is like, "Can you please get off my keyboard? Why are you climbing on my desk?"
That is actually a funny thing because I had to climb on the desk of a coworker's office one time because the light over her desk went out. So I was putting in new bulbs, and she's like, "Why are you on my desk?" I'm like, "Fixing your light for you." Okay, I'm done.
I've come to knock everything off of it.
That's not even funny because I don't know what it is, but if it's something on a desk and it's even my own desk, I will knock something throughout the day off my desk.
Now the
It, it,
question now the
I don't
question
know why.
is it on purpose?
No,
Ah.
it's like I'll turn around and I'm like, my cup of pins all over the floor. I'm like, okay, I didn't realize that was that close. I'll move it over here. Maybe I won't knock it over next time. No, it'll get knocked over. Yesterday, I knocked a whole stack of papers off the top of my desk onto the floor, and I was like,
Oh.
well, those were organized.
Yeah, I've done that. Oh, yeah, that's some good pain right there.
Like, they didn't even fall. They, like, when they fell over, I was like, oh, hopefully they won't scatter. And they were like, scatter. And I had to go through and painstakingly put them in numerical order again.
To me, knocking stuff off my desk only occurs if it's something I specifically need to not knock off my desk. I fix electronics in my spare time, and a lot of those have very, very, very tiny screws. So I'm like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
keep them right here. And I look over, I'm like, and they're gone. And I have carpet in this room.
Oh, you're never going to find them.
Well, thankfully, I've learned from past mistakes. I now own several magnets.
I have a bowl. I have a metal bowl that has a magnet underneath it. And when I'm working, like when I'm soldering or building a circuit board, I will have a bunch of tiny screws because I understand electronics have those tiny, tiny, almost microscopic screws. I will throw them all in that bowl.
See, I've got one of those myself, but the problem is it is full of screws right now to a project I've yet to finish. But some of my friends hire me for like maintenance on their controllers and consoles, and so I have these I realize the absurdity of trying to show you something without even having a camera on.
Oh, I can image it or imagine it.
It's one of those magnets that were really like popular back in school, the little like square ones, the black magnets.
Mm.
But I've got a couple of those, and they're just small enough to perfectly hold those screws, so I'll just have it sat on my desk and just put the screws on top of the magnet. Man, I don't understand why I do that. Like I'm holding the magnet. I'm like, yeah, look at this. I'm like, oh yeah, you can't see
Don't need to see. I got a good enough imagination.
it. Well, so September, we are closing in on 57 minutes, and I think with that we will bring this here interview to a close. And it has been wonderful having you on.
Oh, was it delightful to be here?
Yes. Now, do you have a video that you're particularly proud of that you would like to see in the description of this here video?
No, I don't. I kind of enjoy all of them. But I will send you one, at least the one I feel the most proud of.
I was
I
gonna
will
say,
link you to it.
I'm like this is a Sophie's choice situation. You're gonna have to pick a favorite.
I'm like, because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, I like that one. Oh, that one was good. That one I had a lot of fun making.
I worked really hard on that one, and that one too, and that one.
That one made me angry, but when it was done, that was good. Man,
Well,
give me a few minutes. I will go through the backlog of what I have, and I will link you one or so.
oh, for certain. I also have one last question to close out this here interview.
Yes,
If asked, would you be open to returning as a return guest?
absolutely.
Fantastic. Good to hear.
Hopefully, we don't have any more technical issues.
Oh, yes. But,
That I don't understand what happened there. Normally, my you know phone will link up
mm,
directly to Discord just fine, but no, not today.
well, now that you said it, it's got to happen.
Well, see, it already was a mistake that it didn't work, so it should be good the next time. Probably not.
I was saying, like, why are you doing this? but, but,
No, I'm sure everything will be right as rain the next time.
well, with that wonderful party people at home, thank you so much for sticking around to the end. Please go check out September Dragon Audio's channel. There will be links in the description of this here video to such a place. And with that, I will hope to see you all next time. My name is Frezzman, and this has been Demasked.
Bye.